Hey guys, welcome back. Let's do a grammar test together to see how well you know the difference between the past perfect simple and the past perfect continuous in English. In this video lesson, we'll do a quiz together. I'll show questions up here on the screen. You will choose the correct answer to see how well you know the difference between the past perfect simple and the past perfect continuous in English. Now, if this is the first time you're here on my YouTube channel, welcome. My name's Adriana from EnglishTeacherAdriana.com. I help English learners improve their English, boost their confidence to finally speak English confidently. Make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, turn on notifications so that you know you get that bell when I post my next video lesson here to help you improve your English. Now in this test, you'll see some questions appearing here on the screen and I'll give you 3 options to choose from. It'll be a fill in the blank exercise, a little test, and you are required to choose the best option. To effectively participate in this test, I suggest that you go and find yourself a quiet corner, get yourself a pen and a paper, write down your answers on that paper, and then let's see how well you go and what your score is on this test. So you found yourself a quiet corner. Let's begin with the first question. Having a look at sentence 1, Peter was Sally's best friend. She, something, him all her life. Now here we are using the verb know, and we have 3 options for you to choose from. A, has known, B, had known, or C, had been knowing. Now here, pay attention to the context, the time frame. When is this action happening? Is it happening now? Is it continued action? Is it something that happened in the past? Think about it a little bit before you decide on your final answer. Now in this sentence, we need to use a past perfect simple. So if you chose B, had known, you're correct. We need to use a past perfect simple because we are talking about a situation in the past. Here we have the first action. Peter was Sally's best friend. So it was true that Sally knew Peter all his life. Also pay attention here to the verb know. Know is a stative verb, so we cannot use it in the past perfect continuous. Here the correct answer is B. Sally had known him all her life. Let's move on to question 2. So we have the sentence here, the children are wet because they something soccer in the rain. Now here, pay attention to the verb. Here we have the verb play, and we have 3 options for you to choose from. A, had play, B, had been playing, or C, had played. Now while you're choosing your answer, pay attention to the actions. Are they repeated actions? Are they happening only once? What's happening before the actions? What's happening after? Think about what's happening, all the situations, actions in this sentence. Now here in this sentence, we need to use the continuous, the past perfect continuous, so the correct answer is had been playing. The children had been playing in the rain. Remember that we use the past perfect continuous to describe an action that happened in the past and there was another past action that happened before it, and it had a duration. So here in this sentence, we know that playing soccer, it takes some time. It's not something that happens in a second. It takes time to play soccer. And here the first action in the past that happened was that the children were wet. But why were they wet? They were wet because of another action that happened in the past, and that was because of them playing soccer. So if you'd like to talk about an action that happened before some other action and it had a duration, then you should be using the past perfect continuous tense. Let's have a look at sentence 3. We're very hungry because blank, and here we have not and eat. Now, think about it here again. Do you need to use the past perfect continuous, past perfect simple? Pay attention to the durations. When the actions are happening, are they happening in the past, before each other? Is there any duration at all? Again, we have 3 options. A, hadn't been eating, B, hadn't eaten, or C, have eaten. Now in this sentence, we need to use a past perfect simple because there is no duration. So the correct answer is B, hadn't eaten. Now not eating is a single action. There is no duration, so you do not need to highlight the duration. And if you find yourself speaking about single actions in the past with no durations, then you should be using the past perfect simple. Let's move on to sentence 4. I was delighted when I found my keys. I, something, for them for hours. Here we have the verb look. Now we have 3 options for you to choose from. A, have been looking, B, had looked, C, had been looking. Now, while you're choosing the correct answer, pay again to the duration, how many actions, is there any durations, when are the events happening, and choose the answer you feel best fits in this sentence. Now let's take one step back and think about this sentence logically. So when you lose your keys, does it take you a long time or a short time to find them? Well, regardless how long or short it takes you, there is a duration here. So it takes you some time, there's a duration, and for this reason, you need to use the past perfect continuous in this setting, so the correct answer is C, had been looking. In this sentence, we can see that it was not a short time. They'd been looking for the keys for hours. So here, this is a clear signal that we need to use the past perfect continuous. Let's move on to sentence 5. She was exhausted because she blank since 8 o'clock that morning. Now here we need to use the verb work, and we have 3 options: A, have worked, B, had been working, or C, worked. Now here, if you chose B, had been working, this is the correct answer. Remember guys that we use a past perfect continuous to talk about durations in the past. So here we know that this activity, it took her a long time to work. So she'd been working since 8 o'clock and she was tired. Keep in mind, if you'd like to be sophisticated with your grammar, use the past perfect continuous to express duration. So if something is taking you a long time, if some activity or action is taking somebody else a long time, then you should be using the past perfect continuous. Moving on to question 6. Everything was white because it blank, and here we need to use the verb snow. Again, there are 3 options for you to choose from. A, had been snowing, B, had snowed, C, had been snown. Now pay attention again to the duration. Is it happening repetitively? Is it not? Is there a duration while you're choosing your answer? And the correct answer is A, had been snowing. Let's take a step back and think about rain, snow, hail, and the weather in general. So when it rains, when it snows, when it hails, we know that there is a duration. It happens over a period of time. So here in this sentence, it'd be incorrect to use the past perfect simple because it didn't happen once. We know that snow, it snows over a period of time, so it had been snowing would be the best option here. Let's move on to question 7. Having a look at this sentence here, the passengers were crossed because the airline something everyone's bags. Here we need to use the verb lose, and there are 3 options: A, lose, B, had lost, or C, had losen. Now again, pay attention to the activities. How many events are happening? Are they happening before, after? The duration, what is actually happening and being expressed in this sentence. Now here we need to use the past perfect simple, because here the action of losing something, there is not a long duration, it just happens in a moment. So it's a single action, there's no long duration, so the correct answer here is B, the airlines had lost their bags. Let's move on to question 8. I blank Jacob for several years, but I recognized him immediately. Here we need to use not and seen, and we have 3 options you can choose from: A, hadn't seen, B, haven't seen, or C, seen. Again, while choosing your answer, pay attention to the durations, the actions happening, and try to choose the best option you feel suits here. Now guys, this is a little bit of a tricky one. Remember we talked a little bit in the beginning about stative verbs. Now remember, with stative verbs, they cannot be used in the past perfect continuous. So here, as we know that C is a stative verb, we need to use a past perfect simple, and the correct answer would be I hadn't seen. I hadn't seen Jacob for years. Also notice how we need to make this negative here. Of course, you could say I had not seen Jacob for several years. This is not natural. Native English speakers, many English speakers, we contract this. I hadn't seen. I hadn't seen Jacob for several years. Question 9. I had to have a break. I something so long. Now here we need to use a verb drive, and there are 3 options for you to choose from. A, had drive, B, had been driving, or C, has driven. Again, while choosing your answer, pay attention to the duration. Is a completed action? Did it happen momentarily? Or is there a long period of time that this action is happening in? Now here, if you chose B, I had been driving, This is a correct answer. Now here we need to use the past perfect continuous. So the correct answer would be had been driving. Pay attention to so long. Now guys, if something takes you so long, it means basically in slang in everyday English, it takes you a long time. So this is already a signal for you that you need to use the past perfect continuous tense, as if something takes a duration, well, it takes a long time, then you need to use this tense. Also, this happened before the past event of taking a break as found in the beginning of this sentence, and this is a signal to use the past perfect continuous. Moving on to question 10, before we park our car, we blank the ticket. Here we need to use a verb collect, and there are 3 options for you to choose from. A, collected, B, had collected, or C, had been collecting. Pay attention to the duration, the actions, when they're happening. Do they take a long time? Do they take a short time? While choosing your answer. In this sentence, we need to use the past perfect simple. So the correct answer is had collected. Now guys, there's a special word. It's a signal word. You could keep in mind to better help you to remember when to use a past perfect simple, and that word is before. So if you see the word before, this is a clear signal that you need to use the past perfect simple and not the continuous, as one action happened before another. They're both completed actions. There's no duration, so there is no reason to use the past perfect continuous. So how'd you go in this grammar test? Did you get them right? Did you get them wrong? Was it easy? Was it hard? Let me know what you scored and how you found this test in the comments below this video. Now, if you didn't do as well as you'd hoped in this test, stress less. Guys, remember that practice makes perfect. Try to watch this video lesson a few times. Once is great, twice is fantastic. Take down notes. Really try to understand when to use which tense, and also create different sentences to help you remember and use these tenses correctly when speaking in English. Also, if you found this video lesson useful, make sure to let me know by smashing that like button. Like this video and don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Turn on notifications so that you know you get that bell when I post my next video lesson here to help you improve your English. Continue learning with me by downloading my free audio guide, where I share with you exactly what you need to be doing every single day to drastically improve your confidence speaking in English. Thank you for watching, thank you for being here, and I look forward to seeing you in my next lesson. Bye for now.